I'm a 60-year-old father of three, two sons ages 32 and 38, and a daughter, 22. This issue involves my middle son and my daughter-in-law, B, 27. During their wedding planning 6 months ago, B made it clear she values her independence and feminism, opting not to take our family's last name to maintain her identity. I respect her decision despite our family tradition favoring surname sharing. I genuinely appreciate B. She's a wonderful partner for my son, albeit sometimes her strong opinions and idealistic views seem to overlook her privilege. Our family vacations have been on pause due to global issues and significant life events. With finances not being an issue, my wife and I have traditionally covered these trips. There have been expectations of these trips, such as prioritizing family time and activities over personalized preferred activities. This year, we're planning a more luxurious trip to the Maldives. However, B's been assertively expressing her desire to break from tradition, which was evident during their wedding. She opted out of typical customs like flower girls, a mother-son dance, and being walked down the aisle by her father. Although I funded the wedding, I kept my feelings to myself after my son requested not to add to their stress. I don't appreciate the communication style used, and told my son, who said he would relay this feedback to B. I felt she was rude to my wife, who was sad she wouldn't be partaking in a mother-son dance, i.e., not understanding why she would be sad that there wouldn't be a dance. For the upcoming trip, I've considered stating that I'll only cover expenses for those bearing our last name. After B's continuous emphasis on independence and breaking from tradition, I felt this was a reasonable stance. I discussed this with my son, who asked if I could cover the expenses this time. I thought about it and decided not to. I declined. My rationale is that B's firm stance on independence should extend to navigating the repercussions of their financial decisions. My son is disappointed, and my wife believes I'm overly rigid, arguing that family support transcends proving a point. I'm torn between respecting B's independence and wanting to assist them. Am I the idiot if I decide not to pay for my daughter-in-law's portion of the family trip to the Maldives due to her insistence on independence and refusal to adopt our family's surname? Wow, you are the idiot. Like heck is this about independence? You're punishing this uppity woman for daring to have beliefs that aren't the same as yours. The way you've presented this, you're making it clear that withholding the vacation funds is all about punishing your daughter-in-law for making different decisions. Your reasons are small and pathetic. So what if she didn't take your surname? Is your ego really that fragile? And let's be honest, this is all about your ego. It's understandable that your wife was disappointed that there was no mother-son dance, but this is something you get disappointed about for an hour or two, and then you get over it. You need to butt out of their relationship. How they handle their finances and name their children is their business. And stop trying to use money to control your daughter-in-law. I was wondering if his daughter gets married and takes the husband's last name, will she then not get invited because she has another name? Or if she doesn't take the man's name, will she not get invited because she isn't enough of a subservient woman? Or will it be different if it's his daughter? OP can't have it both ways. Sure he can. He's not the idiot, and the independent couple should not ask to depend on OP to cover their cost, showing he supports their daughter-in-law's belief in independence. She has her convictions, and so should OP. People seem to be mad because she wouldn't take his last name, but he said she kept asserting her feminism and independence. Independence means doing it yourself. She wasn't so independent that she had to pay for her wedding. OP did. She can't have it both ways. Yeah, I get that OP's bitter about the last name thing, but it's not the only problem here. I'm guessing the other issue is that B talks a lot about being independent and doesn't thank OP for anything OP pays for. I'm a hardcore feminist, but you don't get to yell about being a totally independent woman while your husband's family is completely funding your wedding and vacations. You can recognize that you're independent overall, but still also recognize that you're extremely privileged not to have to pay for these expenses. Anyway, sorry, sir, but everyone's the idiot here, because B sounds like a pill, and your son sounds spineless. My sister and her husband adopted a teen, Jake. He's cool. He has issues, but he's a good kid. My sister decided to foster and adopt because she was told she couldn't have kids. I was a bit worried because she tends to be a bit naive, but she's doing pretty well. Jake seems to like her as well. Anyway, my sister managed to get pregnant and revealed she was 6 months along. We're all happy for her, but Jake's become a bit snappy. His attitude is understandable, considering his background, and I'm sure he's just terrified. I figured my sister knew this and worked on it behind the scenes. Well, she called me in tears last night, saying that Jake came home and started insulting her and the unborn baby. She then cried about how she didn't know why he was acting like this and that he broke her heart. I was sympathetic, but then I wondered, has she talked to him about any possible changes that may come with the baby? Has she reassured him or anything like that? I asked this very gently and she went quiet. She then said, "Oh, oops. I'm an idiot. Of course he's scared. That makes so much sense." I was a little shocked. I mean, she really didn't talk to him? At all? She kind of laughed it off and said, "Dumb blonde moment, my bad." I don't know, but that rubbed me the wrong way. So I asked her if this was a joke to her. I then said, "I hope you know Jake isn't a doll you can throw away. He's your kid now. You can't have dumb blonde moments. And how on earth is this a silly my bad moment?" I won't deny that I sounded pretty snarky, but come on. She got upset and said that it was her first time being a parent, and I couldn't blame her for making mistakes. She knows he's her kid, and that'll never change, and that my implications are incredibly offensive. She then told me to try adopting a troubled teen with zero prior experience, and then insult her. I just hung up. I might have been a bit harsh, because all parents make mistakes, but I feel like she should have known better just this one time. Still, she really does love that kid, and I know she feels bad. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. It's a perspective issue. Jake has instability, leading to trauma in his background. Of course he's freaked out. Your sister, however, knows she has no intention of abandoning him, and that the adoption made him a permanent part of her family. She was probably blind to his concern because she was blind to the idea of abandoning Jake. That's not the worst kind of mistake to make, and if she explains it that way to Jake, I think it'll go a long way to reassuring him about why the conversation didn't happen sooner. Disagree. OP's not the idiot. Jake is beyond scared. He thinks that now that they're having a bio kid, that they'll want to get rid of him. So instead of waiting for the inevitable in his head, he'll give them a reason to kick him out. He needs reassurance and therapy. Your sister's cavalier attitude makes it seem like she doesn't understand the depths of the problem. I don't know why everyone's acting like this is a silly mistake. It's genuinely common sense that a 15-year-old who was previously in the foster care system would have abandonment issues. She even acknowledges he's a troubled teen. So I don't understand what she thinks troubled even means if she's so shocked that a kid she just adopted is reacting negatively to her being pregnant. Your sister shouldn't have taken on a child like Jake if she wasn't prepared to do so. And she's not prepared if she didn't even think to discuss this with him. For Christ's sake, you discuss pregnancies with your small biological children to reassure them. You would have to be the world's biggest airhead not to know that. I mean, it's everywhere. Every child care textbook, movie, and show about kids getting a younger sibling. There are even children's books about it. I'm honestly still astounded by how dense this is. I have to question if your sister loves this boy at all. As the youngest in my family, I, 27 female, was often treated like I was a little princess who couldn't do anything for myself, which was aided by the fact that I was a very clumsy child, and some things took me a lot of practice and patience to get right. I was the butt of the joke, and my family loved to tease me and crack jokes about the fact that I couldn't boil water, or that I was a disaster everywhere I went. They would always say I could never be trusted in a kitchen and would need to find a man who could cook and clean for me in the future. It was something I resented, and it made me feel self-conscious. I tried hard not to mess up, but somehow I always seemed to. Moving out to attend college was the best thing I ever did. I met so many great people, including my husband, and I thrived in an environment where nobody was making fun of me. One of my friends was in culinary school, and she taught me a lot of cooking skills that I could use in my day-to-day life. She was patient and suggested that I might have something like dyspraxia. She recognized some of my difficulties as being similar to her brother's. Sure enough, I went to my doctor, who referred me to specialists to help diagnose me. I have a milder form, so it was never brought to my attention. I just looked like I was careless or clumsy as a kid. I didn't see or speak to my family a lot during this time. When I did, it was awkward. My husband, then boyfriend, would come with me sometimes, and he was always so annoyed by the jokes they made about me. When we got married, we actually eloped while on vacation overseas with his family. It was amazing and made for a much less stressful wedding. My family and my in-laws have seen each other once or twice before, but briefly. So when my family decided they wanted to come and see me and stay for a weekend in a hotel, we decided to host both families, and I cooked. But we didn't announce that until my parents started making their little jokes and crediting only my husband for our home's food and cleanliness. My in-laws were aware of how my family acts, but they didn't realize how little they believed in me. My husband giddily informed my family, after they had made idiots of themselves, that I had cooked the whole meal and that we shared those responsibilities. He said the same thing goes for the cleaning. My family was like, "No, she can't." But my in-laws said that I'd been cooking almost as long as they knew me, and I did a good job every time. My mother-in-law mentioned my diagnosis, and my dad told her they thought I was just trying to make excuses. My family was awkward, and my in-laws left with a better understanding of my family and a nice dose of anger at them for going to such lengths to humiliate me in front of them. My family was also angry at me for not explaining things better beforehand. Not the condition, but the fact that I do cook now and could do it. They said I tried to humiliate them out of pettiness. Am I the idiot? Good for you. And dear God, this is the first story I've seen where the in-laws are the good guys. Seriously, well done, you. And I know how much of a relief it can be to get that diagnosis and finally get the "oh crap, that explains so much" moment. Not the idiot. Your in-laws and husband sound amazing. Your own family, not so much. I hope they learned a lesson here, but I suspect probably not. I am so glad her parents and family finally got a taste of their own medicine. It's wonderful that she has loving and supportive in-laws. I'm really curious what her parents thought when she eloped while on vacation with her husband's family. That should have been a wake-up call. Congratulations on getting away from such awful people. I think my sister needs to get over herself and realize she puts herself where she is now. She thinks I'm insensitive and should care more about family. So here we go, I guess. My sister and I grew up in a 2-bedroom trailer. Our parents had 5 kids. It was as trashy as it gets. Our family was poor as dirt. Our mom was a waitress, and our dad worked construction. I told myself I wouldn't live like that as an adult and would make better choices than my parents. I worked hard in high school and got a full ride to an affordable school. I later went back to school twice to end up becoming a CRNA. I've been one for 3 years, and I married my husband last year. We own a nice house, and we live a good life. We're child-free, but we've adopted some elderly cats so they could have a good last few years. My sister did pretty much exactly what our parents did. She got pregnant at 16 and kept it, even though abortion was an option. She's had 5 more kids since then, though the triplets weren't her fault. For some reason, there are a lot of multiple baby pregnancies in our family history. My sister doesn't work because they can't afford daycare, and her boyfriend, the father of just the triplets, works as a bartender at Chili's. They live in a smaller apartment and want to move but have bad credit. My sister looked on the offender registry, and now she's afraid because a bunch of them live in her neighborhood. She keeps telling me she wants me to give her money, saying things like, praying for a miracle, that I somehow get the money to move my kids into a better neighborhood. Recently, my husband and I took a New Year's week trip. It had been frigid, and going to Ibiza for a week was refreshing. I posted pictures on my social media so my friends could see them and my nosy coworkers. My sister commented that I shouldn't flaunt my life when my family members struggle to get by. I texted her and told her not to post petty comments on my social media where my coworkers can see, and that if she has something to say, she needs to just say it. She asked me for money, and I said no, and she was all mad at me. I don't understand her thought process. I worked really hard for everything I have. She's made bad choices that left her where she is. Am I the idiot for posting my life where my sister can see? Not the idiot. Nobody forced her to look at your pictures. If you give her money, she'll have more kids. She's probably going to anyway, but it'll be a waste. Yep, she's living the consequences of her actions. Sharing your experiences isn't flaunting. She's just jealous. She made her choices, and you made yours. You're not obligated to fund her choices. When your nibblings are older, you can buy them things they need directly to help your sister out, or take them on vacation, but you don't need to subsidize your sister's choices. It would be different if she lost everything to a fire, or if one of them needed expensive medical treatment. Then it would be good to help her. OMG, a first unplanned pregnancy is an accident. 3 more is a lifestyle choice. Your sister's made choices, and now she can live with them. She should investigate programs that provide childcare assistance and seeing if it's enough to get her into the workforce. But it's not on you to bail her out. I'd pay for her to get her tubes tied, nothing else. I, 36 female, have 2 daughters, one of whom came out as trans a year ago. Let's call them Maria, nearly adult, and Anna, teen, my trans child. I want to start by saying that when Anna came out, I had no problem so long as her transition didn't get in the way of school or grades. The problem, however, is I have Anna's dead name tattooed on my body. I've had the tattoo since she was a toddler. It's pretty visible as it's on my neck, and every time Anna sees it, she gets visibly upset. She's told me she's looked into tattoo removal surgery and recommended that I get it removed or covered with her new name. Well, I have the money for it. I don't want to deal with it. After all, it's just a tattoo, and I don't think I should have to have it removed to show my love and dedication to this new identity. Anna, however, has accused me of not taking her seriously, and that if I truly loved and cared, I'd get it removed. I understand that removing or covering the tattoo would show dedication, but I truly don't see that as necessary. I think she's being absolutely ridiculous, pushing the issue. I'm an adult after all, and can make decisions about my own body, just as she can. This issue has strained our relationship, and now she barely looks at me. Am I the idiot? I think you are the idiot. Yes, it's your body. You can do whatever you want with it, but you also can't stop your daughter from seeing your choice as a sign that you don't accept her deep down. This is going to affect your relationship with her, whether you like it or not. Her dead name upsets her. She can't see you without being confronted with it, and you're all surprise-faced that she doesn't want to look at you. Bluntly, you have a choice. What do you value more, your money or tattoo, or your relationship with your daughter? You have a right to make that choice in either direction, but you need to be able to accept the consequence of it. Listen, not going to comment on it if you're an idiot or not, but is this really the hill you want to die on? That being said, do not tattoo their new name on your neck. That's a stupid idea. They're mid-teen, and I can almost guarantee they'll change their name multiple times before settling on one. If you're going to cover it up Cover it up with something else entirely, their birth month flower perhaps. It seems like the majority in this comment section don't realize that tattoo removal is usually way more painful than the actual tattoo, needs to be done more than once, and can leave an ugly mark or scar. Just because OP has the funds doesn't make this an easy solution. I think covering the tattoo, not necessarily permanently, with a makeup or a temporary tattoo, for example, would be a good idea to show your daughter that you do respect her transition and are on her side.